In this video, we're going to focus on how we can get these labels here. And also, if I click on this top left, you can see here, we get here zoomed in top left, and it will readjust itself nicely here to its original position. And if I reset, as you can see here, it will jump back and we can see every value here. Let's start to look how to do this. So let's start to look how we can create the custom labels to add to each quadrant. So right now we have this here, we have these nice buttons here as well. However, how can we put in here a label for each quadrant? So for this, make sure you watch my other videos. It starts with this one here, and I will make sure to put the other parts as well in there, and they're all in the description box. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to scroll down here, and what we're going to do in here is, starting from this point on, I'm going to put in here quadrant text, and the quadrant text here will be the following. Well, let's start to work on it. First of all, I go to ctx.font to define the font style. I want to make this bold. I want to give it 12 pixels. And then I'm going to say here, the font family sans serif. Once I did that, I want to give it a color as well. So I'm going to say ctx.fill-style and give the font color a solid black color. Once I did that, let's start to put in the text here. I'm going to say ctx.fill-text. And then in here, we'll be needing the text, the x, and the y coordinates. So to do this, here the text can be anything. However, I will use a structure as well. If I go down here, we have here the quadrants, we have here the colors. And then what I can do here is adding up here as well. Besides the colors, I want to have the labels. And the labels, I'm going to put in like that. And we can say here top left label will be equal to, I'll just put it here, top left. And then we're going to just add them up one by one. There we are. This will be right, right, bottom, bottom, right, and this is bottom. We say here right side, and this will be the right side as well. So let's save that, refresh. Of course, nothing happens. So what I want to do is I want to connect this one. So I'm going up here, go in here, and what I can say in here is plugins dot, and then we're going to say here labels dot top left. I guess that will be the most practical. Then here we have the coordinate. So we need to figure out what is the coordinate here. So if it's in the top left, I want to be in the center here. So what I'm going to say here, what I know is this position will be on the Y scale and X scale. So the X scale will be 0.75, and this here will be probably 2.25. So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to say here for the X scale 0.75. So we're going to say get the pixel for the value of 0.75. Then what I want to do is, again, well, I can just say here for the Y, get the pixel for the value of 2.25, because it's 2.25 here. If I save that, refresh, you can see it is working. However, it is not aligned to the center. So what I'm going to do here, enter, ctx.text align equals center. There we are. Now we have that. What I want to do now is I want to put in for each item. So what I'm going to do here, while we have all of this, I can use just the same logic for it. However, I'll just create a function here. So I'm going to say here function quadrant text, and the quadrant text can be whatever the text is. And then we have here the x coordinate. Make sure we have here x coordinate, the y coordinate, and then if ever you would like, color. So since the color is black here, but we could add that up in here to give the labels a proper color. You could say top left color or something like that. I will make it just color, and I'll just say here black. Very straightforward, nothing fancy. But of course, if you want for each individual specified, you could break it down into basically different items here, or an array. It's one or the other. So what I'm going to do here, color will be color here, and then the center here, I'll leave that in there. This here will be the text. However, how do we get this one? Well, let's start to work on our function, and let's see if our function is missing. I think our function is missing the curly braces. So what I'm going to do here, we'll cut this out, put that in there. Proper indentation. There we are. Then I want to run this function here, but we have here all of these parameters. So we're going to give it an argument. An argument is the value itself. So I say quadrant, make sure you have that correct. So we're going to give it a color. For the color here, you can say here plugins dot label, I think it's labels dot color. That will grab this color here, which is the black color for every one of them. Then we have here the text, and the text will be plugins dot labels dot top right, if I'm not mistaken. Labels top right. And sorry, not top right, top left. My bad, top left. Then we have that. Then we have here the coordinates as well. So how do I do that? How do I do that? I will have to copy this one. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I have to do this, and this one should just be text, of course, because this is the parameter. This is the argument, which is the value. So we have here the x core. I'll just say copy that, and this one here 225. Copy this, and then this will be x coordinates and the y coordinates. So once I do this, save that, refresh. Alright, we get an error. Interesting. So let's see what's the error. So you get here an error 153. Hold on. So once I look, if I scroll down here, 153, this is the error. Not allowed to have a semicolon. This must be a comma, of course. There we are. That works. You can see here, this is working as well. If I say here top left, you can see it moves now here. Why? Because this is the center now, or this is based on the scale. So what I'm going to do now is doing for the others as well. So what I'm going to do now is for each of them, so I'm going to scroll up, copy this. You can just copy this 4 times. There we are. And then we can get here the logic. So if I reset, it jumps back here. We know the logic of this one. So this would be, or let's grab this one here, which is 225 by 225. 225. Then we know this one here is not top left. This should be bottom left. This one should be bottom right. And this one should be top right. So then I know going down here, left will be 75, 0.75, 0.75. And this one is 225 by 0.75. If I save this, refresh, there we are. We are missing one only here. Let's see what's going on here. So we have this bottom. Alright, I guess that we have a space here that is not allowed. Ignore that. There we are. Alright, bottom left. What's going on with bottom left? Bottom left. Of course, this should be 0.75. There we are. That makes it all better. If I change this, you can see here, bottom left, bottom right, reset, we get them all nice. And that's it.